My name is Emily Hayes, and today I turned 38 years old. I never thought that a golden, sun-drenched afternoon in San Diego could make my entire world collapse in 30 seconds. My parents' house is in Rancho Peñaquitos, a peaceful suburb with red brick homes, manicured lawns, and backyard pools, the kind of house middle-class Americans dream of. My mom had prepared my birthday party the traditional family barbecue way: ribs, popcorn, baked potatoes, and a 3-tier chocolate cake from Costco. Everyone was wearing t-shirts and flip-flops, laughing and chatting around the sparkling pool under the June sun. I was wearing a white linen dress and carrying the cream-colored Celine bag I'd saved for almost a year to buy. To me, that bag wasn't just luxury. It was proof that the little girl named Emily, who grew up in a run-down rental apartment in East L.A., had actually accomplished something in life. I was sitting on the edge of a folding chair, forcing a smile while my mom cut the cake, when my 8-year-old nephew Connor, Olivia's son, suddenly rushed over. He snatched the bag from my hands so fast I couldn't react. Everyone went silent for a second. Then the boy turned around, eyes gleaming with excitement, and shouted, "Grandpa says your dad was a loser. You don't deserve nice things like this." Then he ran across the lawn and threw the bag straight into the middle of the pool. The plop when it hit the water rang out clearly in the hot air. The cream Celine slowly sank to the bottom of the crystal-clear pool, taking with it my credit cards, car keys, lipstick, and the last shred of self-respect I had left. Laughter erupted. Not awkward laughter. Real, comfortable laughter. The kind adults give when they're indulging a child's prank. Olivia, my younger sister, covered her mouth but her shoulders shook. Her husband Ethan raised his Coors Light like he was toasting a touchdown. My dad sat in his white patio chair just smirking, glancing at my mom as if to say, "Kids will be kids." My mom turned away, pretending to be busy pouring more lemonade. Not one person defended me. Not one person told the boy to apologize. Only Mia, my 12-year-old daughter, sat curled up beside me, clutching a napkin until her knuckles went white. I saw her eyes, confusion mixed with shame at the adults. And in that moment, I saw my 30-year-old self in those eyes. I stood up. I didn't scream, didn't cry, didn't make a scene. I just took Mia's hand and whispered, "Let's go, sweetie." We walked across the still dewy grass, past the laughter still echoing behind us, past the smell of grilled meat and country music playing from the Bluetooth speaker. I didn't look back once. When the iron gate closed behind us, I clearly heard Ethan shout after us, drunk voice booming, "Don't be so dramatic, Em. It's just a purse." But it wasn't just a purse. It was every night I stayed up studying for the CFA while Olivia partied. It was every 5 a.m. morning I got up to take Mia to school while my sister slept in. It was every time I quietly paid her tuition, her car, her rent without ever getting a thank you. It was the years I tried to be the good daughter to make up for my late father, the man my dad never accepted just because he was a Mexican-American mechanic with no college degree, not worthy of my white middle-class mother's family. As I drove my Audi home on the 5 freeway, the blood-red sunset in front of the windshield, I felt something shatter inside me. Not explosive anger, a cold, sharp clarity, like the edge of a knife. Mia sat in the passenger seat, silent the whole way. Only near Del Mar did she whisper, "Mom, why did Grandpa say those things about Grandpa Carlos?" I didn't answer right away. I just reached for her hand and felt her small, cold fingers. "Because some people never grow up, honey," I said, my voice so calm it startled even me. And tonight, Mommy decided she's done growing down to meet them. The Celine bag was still lying at the bottom of my parents' pool, but I knew the thing that had really sunk today wasn't a designer purse. It was the old version of Emily Hayes, the one who always smiled, always yielded, and believed family meant swallowing every bitter pill. And as I pulled into my garage in Santa Monica, I knew that version would never surface again. I got home just before 10 that night. Santa Monica was still warm. The ocean breeze blew through the open windows, making the white curtains flutter. Mia quietly went upstairs without asking anything. She knows when Mom needs space. I kicked off my grass-stained sandals, set my keys on the console table, and sat down on the light gray sofa that still smelled faintly of last winter's fireplace. My phone kept buzzing in my backup bag, 17 missed calls from Mom, 9 from Olivia, and 1 voicemail from Dad that said only, "You're overreacting, Emily." I didn't listen. I just watched the screen light up, go dark, light up again, like the heartbeat of someone drowning. I opened the Chase app on my iPhone. The pale blue screen showed the automatic payments I'd maintained for 7 years. $687.42 per month, Olivia's Jeep Grand Cherokee payment. $2,850 per month, rent on their 4-bedroom in Poway. $1,240 per month, tuition at La Jolla Country Day for Connor. $420 per month, family dental insurance. Total over $5,200 every month, straight from my salary account. I'd never told anyone, not even Mia. I just transferred silently, like a habit carved into my bones. I remembered the first time Mom called, voice sweet in that Southern California way. "Your sister's struggling, Emily. You're the older one. You have a stable job. Just help for a few months." A few months turned into years. Every time I hesitated, Mom would say, "We only have each other." Dad was shorter. "Don't make your mother sad." I obeyed. I always obeyed. But not tonight. I tapped each one, fingers steady. Cancel recurring payment. "Are you sure?" the app asked. I tapped yes 4 times in a row, so fast I didn't have time to second guess. Done. The screen flashed pale green. All scheduled payments have been stopped. I set the phone down. It felt like dropping a 70-pound backpack I'd worn since college. I poured myself a glass of the 2019 Pinot Noir 2019 I'd been saving for a special occasion, then sat on the balcony watching Ocean Avenue below. The wind carried salt and the distant sound of waves. For the first time in years, I could hear my own heartbeat, not drowned out by the chime of an upcoming transfer alert. The next morning, I woke at 6:30, made coffee, got Mia ready for school. The phone stayed strangely quiet. I thought Olivia would blow it up from midnight, but nothing. Maybe she was still asleep, still believing Big Sister would fix everything, like always. At 8:15, while tying Mia's hair, a voicemail appeared from an unknown number. I put it on speaker. "Hi, this is Jenna from Toyota Financial. I'm calling to confirm that this month's payment for Olivia Hayes' Jeep Grand Cherokee has not been received. The white vehicle was repossessed at 7 a.m. per regulation. Would you like me to hold it a few extra days to complete paperwork?" Jenna's voice was gentle, professional, emotionless. I whispered, "No thank you," and hung up. Mia looked up from her cereal. "Aunt Olivia's car got repossessed, Mom?" I nodded, trying to sound casual. "Looks like Aunt forgot to pay." She stared at me for a moment, then said softly, "I feel strangely relieved." I almost dropped my coffee spoon. Right then, the phone started vibrating nonstop. Olivia this time. I didn't pick up. The first voicemail came immediately, shrill and tear-soaked. "Are you insane, Emily? What did you do with my car money? They towed it in front of the neighbors. Do you want the whole world to know we're poor?" The second voicemail was from Mom. "Call your mother right now. This isn't how adults solve things." I turned the phone off and tossed it into a kitchen drawer. I took a personal day from work. I just wanted to stay home, listen to seagulls outside the window, and feel that precious silence. For the first time in forever, I didn't feel guilty. I felt light. So light I was almost scared of myself. I sat on the living room floor, back against the sofa, empty wine glass long forgotten. The chandelier cast pale gold streaks across the oak floor, like the lane lines on the 405 I'd driven for 20 years to prove I was worthy. I opened the old photo album on my iPad, something I rarely dared look at. First photo, me at 15, wearing a faded public school uniform in East L.A., hugging a library backpack. Beside me, 8-year-old Olivia with blonde hair and a pink bow, grinning next to her brand new bike that my parents bought even though we were behind on rent. Dad stood behind Olivia, hand on her shoulder, while Mom looked at me with that, "You're the older one, you can handle it." Next, college graduation, me in my UCLA blue gown, standing alone because my parents were busy taking Olivia to a teen pageant. My CFA Level 3 photo, only 3-year-old Mia in my lap, clapping. The photo the day I signed for my first Santa Monica house, a tired selfie in front of the door, crooked smile. Not one photo had the whole family. It was always just me and my achievements, with Olivia in the middle, protected, defended, allowed to fail. I remembered the only Dia de los Muertos my father Carlos was still alive. He showed up in an old shirt carrying homemade churros to my parents' house in Poway. My maternal grandfather opened the door, looked him up and down, and announced loud enough for everyone, "Oh, the mechanic is here." 13-year-old Olivia giggled along with the adults. I stood in the kitchen, hands shaking so hard I broke a glass. 3 months later, Carlos died of a stroke. The funeral had only me and a few of his garage coworkers. My parents didn't come, busy taking Olivia to a talent competition in Sacramento. That day, I understood. In this family, there are 2 kinds of people. The ones loved unconditionally, Olivia, and the ones who have to prove they're worthy of love, me. How did I prove it? By paying Olivia's college when she dropped out because it was too stressful. By co-signing their first house loan even though Ethan's salary barely covered weekend beer. By paying Connor's private school tuition since he was 3 because Olivia said, "He's sensitive, he can't go to public school like you did." By sending money every month like squeezing a lemon dry and receiving thank you texts with smiling emojis. I had turned myself into the family's mobile ATM. 0% interest, only one clause. Never ask for it back. But the worst part wasn't the money. It was that Mia had to witness it all. I remember when Mia was 8, Olivia called crying because Ethan lost again at Morongo Casino. I transferred $4,000 while Mia stayed behind me asking, "Mom, why does Aunt Olivia always cry but still gets a new iPhone and I don't?" I answered, "Because she's having a hard time, baby." That night, Mia brought me her piggy bank, $87 saved over 2 years, and said, "Here, Mom, give it to Aunt so she stops crying." I held my daughter and cried all night in the locked bathroom. I didn't want Mia to grow up believing women in this family have to bleed themselves dry to keep others fed. I didn't want her to think her mother's success only mattered when it patched someone else's holes. I had built my own American dream from nothing. A Latina girl from the barrio, top-tier schools, oceanfront home before 35, 6-figure job without leaning on anyone. That's what Carlos dreamed for me before he closed his eyes. Mija, you have to stand on your own because no one will stand for you. Yet I had used those same legs to prop up an entire family that refused to stand. I looked out the window. The Santa Monica night sparkled with the distant Ferris wheel lights. I thought of Connor, the boy who threw my bag in the pool. Growing up believing successful adults exist to be milked, and failed adults have the right to demand. He'll think that's normal because his whole family taught him so. And what will Mia think? She'll think her mother is a walking ATM, that family love means enduring, that a woman's worth is measured by how much she sacrifices. No, Not anymore. I stood, walked down the dark hallway, stopped at Mia's door. She was asleep, clutching the Disneyland bear I bought her when she was 6. The star-shaped nightlight glowed on her peaceful face. I whispered into the darkness. Mommy won't let you learn from the old me, baby. Mommy will teach you how to stand tall, not how to bow. Then I went back to the living room, opened my laptop, went into my bank account again. I screenshotted 7 years of transactions, hundreds of thousands of dollars flowing from me to Olivia without ever being asked thank you. I saved it in a folder named Evidence, because I knew this war wasn't over. But for the first time in my life, I had chosen the right side, mine and Mia's. And I wasn't going to sleep tonight hearing the payment successful chime in my head anymore. I stood in the kitchen at 2 a.m., the under-cabinet lights casting a cold yellow glow on my face. The house was so quiet, I could hear the fridge humming and the distant crash of waves. I just made my 3rd cup of chamomile tea, but couldn't drink a sip. My mind kept repeating one sentence like an old broken record. It's time. I opened the bottom drawer, took out the small wooden box I hadn't let anyone touch since Carlos died. Inside, his cheap silver wedding band, a Polaroid of him in oil-stained coveralls, grinning beside the '69 Mustang he repainted himself, and a handwritten letter in fading blue ballpoint. I opened the letter for the first time in 18 years. My dearest Mija, if you're reading this, I'm no longer here. I leave you no money, no house, only one thing: your self-respect. Never let anyone tell you you're not worthy because you carry half my Mexican blood, because I fixed cars instead of sitting in an office, because I never had a degree. You deserve every good thing in this world, not by begging, but by standing up and taking it with your own 2 hands. Forever your father, Carlos. I folded the letter. My hands shook so hard the ring fell to the floor. The metallic clink echoed. I knelt to pick it up, and in that moment, everything became painfully clear. Connor didn't invent "your dad was a loser" on his own. He heard it. It's the exact sentence I heard my father, Richard Hayes, say at least 3 times when I was little. The last time was right after Carlos's funeral. He stood in the hallway smoking a Marlboro, loud enough for me to hear. See? That loser finally went. Good thing he didn't drag the whole family down with him. I was 17, wearing black, standing behind a cheap casket I'd paid for. I didn't cry. I just told myself, I'll prove you wrong. And I did. Full ride scholarships, working 3 jobs, this oceanfront house, vice president at 38. I did everything so no one could ever call me daughter of a loser again. Yet today, an 8-year-old grandson repeated the exact same words in front of the whole family, in front of Mia, and no one told him to shut up. They weren't just failing to protect me. They were teaching the next generation that humiliating me is normal, a family joke, a tradition. I slipped Carlos's silver ring onto my left ring finger. It fit perfectly, strangely. Then I opened my laptop, created a new email address, emily.hayes.boundaries@gmail.com, and sent myself a letter titled, June 11, 2025, I officially stop. I am no longer anyone's emergency fund. I no longer accept being insulted for choosing to live differently. From now on, I protect Mia and myself first. Blood family comes second. I hit send and saved it in important. I knew the price. Olivia would cry, tell Mom. Mom would call with the old mantra, I only have 2 daughters. Dad would stay quiet but disappointed that I was no longer the good daughter. They would call me selfish, ungrateful, family wrecker. but I was tired of keeping the whole family afloat while drowning myself. I didn't want Mia to grow up thinking family means endure. I didn't want her to think love comes with self-destruction. I didn't want her to look at her mother and learn that strong women exist only to be the backdrop for others to shine. I wanted Mia to look at me and see a woman who knows how to say enough. I picked up the phone, found Mom in contacts. My thumb hovered over call for almost a minute. Finally, I didn't call. Instead, I wrote one single text and sent it at 2:47 a.m. I have stopped all financial support for Olivia effective today. This is not impulsive. I will not explain further. I only want to say one last time. I love you both, but I will no longer accept being treated this way. When you're ready to apologize and respect me, we'll talk again. I hit send, then turned the phone off. I opened the kitchen window. The moon hung low over the horizon, silver white. I raised my left hand. Carlos's ring glinted in the moonlight. "Thank you, Dad," I whispered. I finally listened. And this time, I'm not turning back. I knew the coming days would be hell, but I also knew that hell would end. The old hell of silence and endurance would never end if no one dared walk out. And that person was me. The next morning, the phone started ringing at 6:12. I was brushing my teeth, toothpaste foaming at the corners of my mouth, when the screen showed Olivia, 23 missed calls. I wiped my hands, silenced it, set it face down on the marble counter. It kept vibrating like it was being electrocuted, making the whole counter shake. 7:04, Olivia's first voicemail on speaker, voice cracking between sobs and screams.
"Are you crazy, Emily? What did you do with my car money? They towed it while Connor was eating breakfast. He cried all morning. Do you want him traumatized? Call Toyota right now and tell them to bring it back. Right now."
I didn't answer. I just poured more coffee. Ethan texted in all caps, "Emily, you're playing with fire. I'll come to your house if you don't fix this in 24 hours. I screenshotted and saved to evidence. Mom called. I let it ring 8 times before answering. "Hi, Mom." Her voice soft, the practiced calm of an adult trying not to escalate. "Emily, calm down. I know you're upset about yesterday, but cutting everything off like this is wrong. Olivia's devastated. You're the older sister. You have to control yourself. How about you turn the payments back on for a few months, then taper off slowly, okay?" I took a deep breath, voice even. "Mom, I tapered off for 7 years. Now I stop completely." Mom was quiet a few seconds, then the disappointed sigh. "You're making your parents very sad, Emily. No one in our family does this to each other." I hung up. No more words. 8:02, Olivia sent an essay-length text thread. I skimmed. "You're evil, Emily. You have money to burn. What's a little help? Now the whole neighborhood knows my car got towed. I want to die of shame." You think you're better because you have an ocean house? Mom and Dad are crying because of you. If you don't fix this, you're no longer my sister. I didn't reply, just blocked her temporarily so I wouldn't have to see it. 8:45. I called the property manager in Poway, Lauren, whom I'd paid rent to for 4 years. "Hi, Lauren, it's Emily. Starting this month, I will no longer transfer rent. Please send all notices to the legal tenant, Olivia Hayes. Thank you." Lauren hesitated. "Usually I receive from your account." "Correct, not anymore." She was quiet, then softly, "I understand. Have a good day." 9:17. Dad called. I answered because he rarely calls. "Emily," voice low, smoky, "you're embarrassing the whole family." Did I embarrass the family, or did the family embarrass me in front of my daughter, Dad? Silence. I heard him pull a chair, the click of his Zippo. "What do you want?" he asked. "I want respect, that's all. Cutting off your sister is respect? Stopping paying for able-bodied adults who won't work is respect for myself and for Mia. He sighed. You're as stubborn as your father. I smiled for the first time that day. Thank you, Dad. That's the best compliment you've ever given me. He hung up first. 10:11. Mom's last voicemail, choking. Emily, I'm not forcing you, but if you don't turn the rent back on before the 15th, the landlord will evict them. Have you thought this through? Can you really watch your sister and my grandchildren sleep on the street? I stood, opened the kitchen window. Ocean breeze carried children laughing on the beach. I looked at the horizon where sky and sea met. I didn't answer Mom. I only whispered to myself, I've endured enough. Then I pulled the SIM card, tossed the phone in a drawer. That whole day I kept the phone off. I took Mia for tacos at our favorite spot, bought her a little pink purse, not designer, but bought with money I earned and decided to spend. She hugged me tight and whispered, I like this one better than the Celine, Mom, because you chose it for me. That night after Mia slept, I turned the phone back on. 147 missed calls, 89 texts, 12 voicemails. I didn't listen to any. I just opened the banking app, looked at my personal balance for the first time in years, and smiled. Tomorrow would be crazier than today. But today, for the first time, I chose silence because I wanted to, not because I was afraid. And that silence tasted sweeter than any apology I'd ever waited for. 3 days after the day of silence, the dominoes started falling. Monday, 8:11 a.m. Email from LaCoya Country Day School. Dear Mrs. Emily Hayes, we regret to inform you that student Connor Hayes is 2 months delinquent, $2,480. Per school policy, he is suspended effective today until the debt is paid in full. I forwarded it to Olivia without comment. 10 minutes later, the landline rang, my parents' house. I answered. Mom's voice trembling. Emily, Connor just got kicked out of school. Teachers called the parents to pick him up. Olivia is crying in the school parking lot. You can't do this to your own nephew. Softly. Mom, he's not my nephew by choice, only by blood. Mom went dead silent, then sobbed. You're heartless. That afternoon, Mia came home from school, dropped her backpack, and asked straight, Mom, kids at school said Connor got expelled for unpaid tuition because you stopped paying? I knelt to her eye level, held her hands. Yes, honey, Mom stopped paying for Aunt Olivia and her family. Mia frowned, but family helps each other, right? I took a very deep breath. Family helps when both sides try. Not one gives forever and the other takes forever. Mom gave for over 10 years. Now Mom wants to teach you something more important. Boundaries. If someone keeps taking from you and never grateful, never stands up themselves, that's not help. That's harming them and you. Mia was quiet, then nodded slowly. I get it. Like when I keep giving candy to Sarah and Sarah never gives back. The teacher said stop so Sarah learns to buy her own candy, right? I hugged her so hard. Exactly, my smart girl. That night, the doorbell rang. Through the peephole, UPS leaving a thick craft envelope in Mom's handwriting. I opened it in front of Mia so she could read too. Handwritten on the family letterhead they only use for Thanksgiving or Christmas. Dearest Emily, Mom and Dad talked a very long time. We only have one family in this world. You're the older sister. You've always been strong. But strength doesn't mean turning your back on blood. Olivia is desperate. Ethan is thinking of selling his golf clubs to pay debts. Connor cries because friends call him poor. I'm not forcing you, but I beg you, think of the words family first your father taught you both since you were little. Just turn the rent and tuition back on for a short while, so Olivia can get back on her feet. Later you can stop, but please don't let them free fall like this. Mom and Dad are old now. We only want to see our 2 daughters at peace. Don't make me ashamed in front of neighbors, the church, and my own conscience. Love, Mom and Dad. Dad's added line in blue pen. Daughter, don't do something you'll regret your whole life. I folded it, handed it to Mia. She read, looked up. What will you answer, Mom? I smiled softly. Mom won't answer with words. I wrote one single line on the back of the envelope. I love you both, but I am no longer the family's emergency fund. Love, Emily. I stamped it and dropped it in the mailbox at midnight. The next day, Olivia posted an Instagram story I could still see because I hadn't fully blocked. Connor crying in an empty bedroom. Caption, when your own sister turns her back on the whole family over a purse. Thank you, @EmilyHayes, for teaching my son about people's hearts. 60+ likes and pity comments in 1 hour. I didn't comment, just screenshotted, saved to evidence, turned off notifications. That night, Mia took paper and wrote 3 new house rules in marker and taped them to the fridge. We say no when we need to. We don't let anyone hurt us forever. We love, but we don't trade ourselves for it. I stood behind her, eyes stinging. I hugged her and whispered, "You're the reason I dared to change." Outside, the phone kept ringing, but the sound was now just rain on the roof, loud, but it couldn't get me wet anymore. Friday that week, I woke earlier than usual. 5:47 a.m., Santa Monica still foggy. I carried the trash out and froze like I'd been punched in the chest. My pearl white Audi Q5, the gift I gave myself after my biggest deal, was now scarred by one long, deep scratch running from the right headlight across both doors to the rear wheel. Paint flakes lay on the garage floor like white dandruff. The metal underneath gleamed raw. Not an accident. Not kids. This was deliberate revenge. I knelt, touched the groove. My fingertip came away with white dust. The scratch was exactly waist-high, Ethan's height when he swings his arm. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I took out my phone, flash on, took 42 photos from every angle, time-stamped. Then I opened the Ring app. 2:14 a.m. last night, a figure in a gray hoodie, cap pulled low, but the walk unmistakable, left shoulder slightly lower, right foot dragging, the same way Ethan walks since college basketball injury. He looked around like he was afraid of being caught, classic Ethan when he used to borrow money. Grainy, but enough for someone who knows him. I saved the video to every cloud, named the file Ethan-0214am. Then I called my usual body shop. He arrived in an hour, whistled. Who hates you this much? This isn't a scratch. This is a message. Quote, $4,800 to repaint the whole car. I nodded. Send me the bill. Only then did I go inside. Mia was already up. Mom, what happened to the car? I hugged her, kissed her forehead. Someone's not happy with Mommy, but it's okay. Mommy will handle it. She nodded, but I saw her little hands tremble holding the milk. All day the phone went insane again. Olivia texted, "Seen the consequences yet? Your turn now." Ethan sent a knife emoji. Mom sent a photo of Connor doing online school on an old laptop. My grandson has to study at home because no money for school. Happy? I didn't answer anyone. I just did 3 things. Sent everything to my attorney, Rachel, restraining order specialist. Ordered 2 more 4K cameras pointing at the street and garage. Rented a car for the week so Mia wouldn't have to ride in a scarred car. That night, after Mia slept, I sat on the balcony looking at the quiet street. I remembered drunk Ethan last Thanksgiving slapping my back. "You're loaded. Let me borrow the Audi for the weekend. I swear I'll fill the tank." I declined politely. He laughed, but his eyes flashed. Now I understood the flash. I wrote Ethan a short email. Text blocked, email still open. Subject: the scratch on my car. Ethan, I have 2:14 a.m. video. You have 48 hours to turn yourself in to Santa Monica PD. After that, I file everything. Last warning, for the sake of the brother-in-law you once were. Emily. Reply came instantly. You have no proof, just coincidence. Don't blow it up, you'll regret it. I screenshotted, added to evidence, went to bed. When I lay down, I realized I wasn't afraid, just sad. Sad that a family could go this far over money. But the sadness wasn't enough to pull me back into the old role. I whispered into the dark. You chose war. Fine, but this time I'm not fighting with money. I'll fight with law, evidence, and the cold silence they've never tasted. And they were about to taste it. The following Tuesday, after a Zoom meeting, the phone rang. 858 area code, San Diego. I answered. Polite, middle-aged woman. Mrs. Emily Hayes? This is Miss Ramirez, Mia's counselor at Santa Monica Prep. Something unusual happened. My heart dropped. Go ahead. This morning at 9:12, a woman called the main office claiming to be you, requesting Mia's full weekly schedule, dismissal times, after-school clubs, bus route. The clerk asked all 3 security questions. She got all 3 wrong, so we denied and logged the call. I felt the blood drain from my face. Do you have the recording? Sent to your secure email. Can you send it, please? Already sent. And we've gone hard lockdown. No one picks up Mia except you in person or notarized letter. I hung up, hands shaking so badly I had to set the phone down. Opened the email. 41-second audio. Aloof, rushed voice I knew by heart. Hi, it's Emily Hayes. I'm in a meeting, so quick call. Can you give me Mia's schedule this week? I forgot what time she gets out Wednesday. Olivia. Not even trying to disguise her voice, just speaking fast and adding my old authoritative tone I used when I used to call on her behalf. I listened 3 times, each colder than the last. This wasn't about money anymore. This was Mia. Dismissal times, bus routes, blind corners only family would know. They were targeting my child to force me back. I called Miss Ramirez, requested full lockdown. No one but me can pick her up, not even grandparents. She agreed and sent internal alert to security. Then I drove like a maniac to school, signed Mia out early. As soon as she got in the car, she asked, Mom, why do you look like a ghost? I didn't hide anymore. Someone pretending to be mommy called your school asking your schedule. I think it was on Olivia. Mia went very quiet. Then, Connor bragged to his friends, my mom's gonna make Aunt Emily so scared she'll give the money back. He was laughing. I gripped the wheel until my knuckles went white. Back home, I pulled up the Ethan keying video and the Olivia recording side by side. Screenshotted, emailed Rachel. Enough for emergency protective order yet? Rachel answered in 30 seconds. Enough for emergency protective order within 24 hours. I'm drafting now. That night, I did 3 final things. Installed fingerprint and code deadbolts on every door. Enrolled Mia in kids self-defense starting next week. Sent 1 group email to the entire family, CCing Rachel. Person impersonating me to Mia's school has been recorded. Video of car vandalism and police possession. Any further action toward my daughter and I will file full restraining orders against Olivia, Ethan, and anyone involved. Final warning. Sent at 11:11 p.m. No one replied, but all showed scene. I turned off the lights, lay beside Mia, listened to her breathing. For the first time in my life, I didn't pray for peace. I prayed for justice. And I knew I would have it, no matter the cost, because my daughter deserves to grow up without fear in her own family. I didn't sleep that night. After Mia fell asleep, I went to the basement, opened the gray gun safe, actually just documents. I took out Carlos's wooden box again, placed it on the desk, and started assembling every piece like a soldier loading ammunition for the final battle. Financial records folder. 312-page PDF of every transfer 2018-2025. $487,619.42 total. Printed, tabbed, labeled. Physical evidence. 44 4K photos plus Ring video exported to 3 backups. Threat to Mia. Audio file plus school email plus Ethan's knife emoji plus Olivia's public shaming post. Full message history. Highlighted threats. Parents' family first letter. Scanned. On top, I place the only photo I still keep of Carlos, grinning in front of his tiny East L.A. garage. Coveralls covered in grease, smile brighter than the sun. I whispered, "Dad, your daughter is about to fight the big one. Wish me luck." His words before he died. Cuando te atacan por ser quien eres, no te defiendas explicando. Defiéndete actuando. When they attack you for being you, don't waste words explaining. Defend yourself by acting. This was my action. I created a new folder, 4_restraining order, 3.7 gigabytes of undeniable proof. At 4:11 a.m., I called Rachel. "You awake?" "Wide awake, girl. I need emergency protective order for Olivia, Ethan, even Connor if needed. They went after Mia. Send everything. 9 a.m. I file emergency at courthouse. You'll have temporary by afternoon." I sent it, added. No more negotiating. Rachel, good. 5:30 a.m. Coffee in hand, I wrote one final group email. CC, Rachel. To everyone. Effective today, I am cutting all contact until court protective orders are in place. Any attempt to approach, direct, indirect, social media, school, or third party will be treated as criminal violation under CA Penal Code 646.9, stalking, and 422, criminal threats. I do this not out of hate, but out of a sole mother's duty to keep her child safe. When you are ready to apologize publicly and compensate damages, we will speak through counsel. Otherwise, this is goodbye. Emily Hayes. Sent at 5:59 a.m. Then I shut the laptop, went upstairs, lay beside Mia. She turned and hugged me in her sleep. I kissed her hair. Mommy just won the first battle, baby. From now on, we only move forward. Outside, dawn broke over Santa Monica, the most beautiful I'd ever seen. I knew there were more battles ahead, but for the first time, I wasn't fighting alone. I had proof. I had the law. And most of all, I had the strongest version of myself Carlos ever dreamed of. Wednesday, 8:42 a.m. I parked in front of Santa Monica Police Station on Olympic. The sky was cloudless California blue, sun glaring off the windshield, yet I felt cold. In my hand, a thick black briefcase with every printed, tabbed, numbered page of the 3.7 gigabytes. I wore a light gray pantsuit, black heels, hair in a tight bun, like going to a shareholder meeting, not reporting my own family. Mia was sleeping at her best friend's with instructions. Stay until mommy comes, don't ask. I walked in, told the officer. My name is Emily Hayes. I'm here to file an emergency protective order and report stalking, vandalism, and attempted child endangerment. 15 minutes later, I sat with Detective Amanda Torres, Latina, 40-ish, short hair, eyes sharp as knives. She flipped through my binder without a word except the occasional, uh-huh. When she reached Olivia's recording, she stopped, played it on speaker. Olivia's voice filled the cold room. Hi, it's Emily Hayes. She looked at me. Felony 530.5, identity theft plus 422 criminal threats to a minor. We're taking this very seriously. To the car keying video? Clear, 594 felony vandalism. To the 487K transfers? Clearest case of financial abuse by proxy I've seen. 10:28 a.m., she called the judge in my presence. 7 minutes later, she slid a yellow paper across the table. TRO granted effective immediately. Olivia, Ethan, and Connor Hayes prohibited from coming within 100 yards or contacting you or Mia by any means. Hearing in 21 days. This is your copy. We serve them within 24 hours. My hands shook so hard the ink blurred. For the first time in 38 years, I felt the American legal system standing on my side. Detective Torres walked me out, hand on my shoulder. I have 2 daughters. If anyone tried to get their schedules, I'd do exactly what you did. You did right. I could only nod. Tears finally fell. That afternoon, Rachel texted, "Civil harassment order filed, plus $12,800 damages claim, hearing July 12. 6:40 p.m., Santa Monica PD served papers at Olivia's house. Neighbor's ring camera caught Olivia opening the door, face going white, screaming, slamming it. Ethan argued with officers, got warned. Mom texted, first contact in 10 days. What have you done? Police just came to Olivia's. I can't show my face to neighbors. I answered once. This is what happens when boundaries around a child's safety are crossed. I didn't choose this road. They did. Then I blocked Mom too. 8 p.m. I picked Mia up. She asked, "Mom, security walked me out today. What happened?" I knelt. Some grown-ups are mad at Mommy, so Mommy asked the law to protect you. No one will scare you again, I promise. She nodded, then asked, "Are we still family?" I kissed her forehead. Real family doesn't hurt each other, baby. People who do are just relatives on paper. She hugged me. "I'm proud of you, Mom." I cried in the living room, not from pain, but from relief. That night, I hung the yellow TRO beside Mia's Mother's Day drawing on the fridge. Under the warm kitchen light, that yellow paper didn't look like a restraining order. It looked like the first shield I'd ever been given after 38 years. And I knew no matter how many battles left, I was finally protected. Not by blood. By justice, any American citizen has the right to be safe in her own home. 3 months later, everything was different. The civil harassment hearing was held on a September morning in the oak-paneled Santa Monica courthouse. Olivia wore an old black dress, hair in a low ponytail, no makeup. Ethan in a wrinkled shirt, eyes bloodshot. My parents sat in the back row, Mom clutching Dad's hand, staring at the floor. The judge, black woman, 50-ish, read every piece of evidence aloud. When she reached Olivia's recording, she looked straight at her. "Are you aware this could be prosecuted as felony?" Olivia only cried. Result, 3-year restraining order, $9,800 damages awarded. Connor ordered into court-mandated child counseling. No appeal. They left in silence. I walked out breathing California air like it was brand new. Olivia got a part-time job at Target. Ethan retrained as a mechanic, for real this time. They moved to a 2-bedroom in Escondido apartment. Connor started public school and, according to his new teacher, started saying thank you. My parents received one letter only, through Rachel. "Sister Emily, I was wrong. I didn't realize how far we'd gone until I stood in court hearing about Mia. I'm not asking forgiveness yet, just letting you know I'm trying to become a real adult for the first time. One day, if you want, I will apologize to Mia in person. Olivia." I folded it, put it in Carlos's box. Not yet. Mom showed up alone one Saturday with a box of homemade churros, cinnamon sugar smell from my childhood. She said only, "I made them with your dad's old recipe. I'm sorry." I took the box, nodded, closed the door gently. Peace returned slowly, sweetly. I got promoted to regional director, 42% raise. Took Mia to Hawaii with my bonus. We learned to surf in Waikiki, ate shave ice till brain freeze, and Mia called it our mother-daughter trip for the first time. Every night I sit on the balcony with Carlos's silver ring, watching the moon on the waves. I no longer feel guilty hearing the ocean. I feel free. I learned. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's the only way my American dream didn't become someone else's nightmare. Family love isn't unconditional sacrifice. It's mutual respect. When respect ends, you have the right to walk. Forgiveness doesn't mean opening the door tomorrow. Forgiveness is for my own heart. The door opens only when they prove worthy. Today, Mia came home with an A in U.S. history. Her presentation title, How My Mom Redefined the American Dream. Last paragraph made me cry laughing. The American dream is not making lots of money for others to spend. It is daring to say enough, standing up after being pushed down, and building a more beautiful life without asking permission. I hugged her and whispered, "You are the most beautiful part of that dream." Out on the waves, keep rolling. I no longer hear payment chimes. I only hear freedom, clear, strong, and entirely mine. One day I might open the door again for Olivia, for my parents, but not today. Today I keep that door locked tight, enjoy the peace I paid for with my own blood, sweat, and tears. Because finally, I understand. The strongest woman is not the one who gives everything. She is the one who keeps enough to keep living, keep loving, and keep dreaming the biggest dreams for herself and for her daughter. And that is the real American dream.